Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Comics Corner here at Pastimes. I'm Mike, joined here by Johnny.
Hello, how are you?
And we're going to be trying something a little bit different today. So as you can see, a little bit of a different setup. We're going to be trying to transition a little bit into doing some live sales and auctions. So this is our first time doing that. So, do bear with us. If you've got any questions or comments, you can leave in the Facebook chat, or if you're viewing this on other platforms like Twitch, we can see those too. So feel free to, let us know if there's anything that we can fix here. But the way we're going to set this up right now is, as you can see listed, we've got a couple auction items listed. We've got, I believe, 9 items that we're going to be doing today. And then throughout, we've got the buy it now section here. So any of those items, basically first come, first serve. Those ones are going to be a flat price. And then also for the auctions here today, they're going to be lasting for 24 hours. They're going to be listed here on Facebook. It'll be $1 increments, so full dollars. So if one auction starts off at 25, the next lowest bet could be 26 and so on. But you can also, jump up, as many dollars as you want. The buy it now, it's going to be a flat price. And then whoever's the first one that wants that, they get to get that item. And then all the items here will be a flat $5 shipping. So if you get multiple items, if you get, 2 or 3 books, it's only going to be one set price for shipping. So for right now, at the start here, we have for auction number 1, we've got the Infinity Gauntlet number 1. We had Johnny and I had talked a bit about the Thanos Quest number 1, but as you can see here, we've got the Infinity Gauntlet number 1, a great cover. We talked about that cover a bit during the stream too, about, or maybe it was off stream, but just a great setup of, just Thanos in the middle there. And then
George Perez, he has a knack for putting a lot of characters into one image, and he did the cover for that. So like, it's pretty crazy how he covers a lot of the Marvel universe in one image.
Yeah, I think we got a question here about the buy it now bin. So we've got the X-Men number 1. This one is the party variant.
Okay.
Honestly, it's kind of my favorite one. So the X-Men series, rebooted late last year with after like the House and Powers storylines. So this was for issue number 1 of X-Men. It's got Jean Grey, Wolverine, Cyclops all busting out of the cake. That one is a flat price of $5. So if you're interested in getting that one will stay up here for a bit. If people are interested,
so it's $5 for that guy.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good one. It's a steal.
And that's so I was pulling up some info on it. So the cover, oh, that's a Mark Brooks cover. Mark Brooks is an awesome artist. He did one of my favorite other variants for Darth Vader. I didn't know that was Mark Brooks. So if you like that artist, that's a $5 well spent for sure.
If you're interested, you could PM. We've got people in the Facebook chat. If you want, if you're interested in grabbing that, let them know. We do have PayPal links too, so we could accept PayPal. And then once that's sold, I'll take it out and I'll cycle it through with something else we've got here. But going down the line too for the other auctions for this week, or for the full day rather, we've got V for Vendetta #1.
Yeah, so that guy, I've got some info on that. That is a David Lloyd cover. It's #1 in a 10-issue maxi series. I mean, most people know V for Vendetta. It usually is just sold in a graphic novel, but it originally was released in these 10 issues back in 1988. But I think DC was still going under Vertigo when it was doing these releases.
Mm-hmm.
Suggested for mature readers. Yeah, so that's a cool David Lloyd cover. And
yeah, this I know. Alan Moore again. We can't seem to escape him, but that was, I know, another early contender for on Wednesdays are going to be our new day for the comic book, the Comics Corner book club. The one that's due tomorrow for us. We're reading Marvel's the 1994 series, but V for Vendetta was definitely an early contender for one that we were considering for doing that, and obviously still. Still an option too, so we might jump into that a little bit deeper one of these days. But
yeah, that's another one that I've never watched the movie because I want to read the book first, just like Watchmen. So
yeah, the movie's not that bad. I forget if I saw the movie first or read the comic, but that was a while back. I think was when the movie came out. That was like 2006 to 7 or something like that.
Does it have any crazy changes like how Watchmen did, or is it pretty true?
That one I don't remember. I feel like V for Vendetta, like I like the storyline, but I feel like it just didn't stick to me as much as Watchmen did. Obviously a bit more political, and maybe it was just over my head reading it as a kid, so that's why. But yeah, it's one I'm definitely due for catching back up on it. So
okay, yeah, we should do that one day. But yeah, for now, I mean, selling that first issue, I think that's pretty cool. I think it's a really awesome cover, and I like the tone of it too. It's got that like faded pastel kind of look to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of just dark colors, but yeah, the pink in the font at the top definitely popping out, and then you kind of get back to that in like the rosy cheeks of the Guy Fawkes mask at the bottom there.
And we're starting that auction for how much?
V for Vendetta is 15, and then Infinity Gauntlet we've got starting at 10, and then again the buy it now X-Men #1 party variant is $5. So feel free to message. If you're in Facebook, you can message our Facebook Messenger, or you could say in chat if you're looking to snag it up or start placing bids for either. So
solid.
Johnny, I forget. Did you ever have any chance to catch up with last week's our book club? We were reading the Thanos Quest. Did you ever read any of that Silver Surfer follow-up stuff, either before or after?
No, I didn't. Sorry. Yeah. Am I getting called out now for that?
Exactly. Yeah. Please come to the front of class here. No. I was just curious because, man, like I said, awesome. Buy it now. #1 has been purchased. So
you're kidding me.
Set this aside.
Who bought it? What's their name?
Just out them. I believe it might have been Wayne. Wayne on Facebook. Yeah.
Thanks, Wayne. You made a good purchase, man. You got a Mark Brooks cover there. That's pretty solid.
Awesome. So let me go grab another one, Johnny. If you want to, I assume, have you been reading up on some of the Marvels? Any kind of preview info on that of how you're liking it?
Yeah, more than anything, the artwork. I mean, Alex Ross is like out of this world. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a review of Marvels tomorrow, which was written by Alex Ross and Kurt Busiek. But Alex Ross is known for doing this really realistic style of art. He actually, what he does, I've seen the process. There's some cool videos on YouTube. He has people, like real people in life, pose in whatever stance he's going to draw the character in, and uses that as his base, and then he puts the character over it. So he'll have somebody pose, like this, and then draw Batman over it, and then paint it, and then you have this beautiful, unique art style that nobody else does. Like most of his stuff looks like paintings, and I'm not sure about this. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I think before Marvel's, Alex Ross might have only done covers, but he does the whole 4 issue series.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
He's mainly doing a lot of covers. Even now, like Marvel still definitely has him in his stable of like variant covers or even base in the case of Captain America. He's like the base cover artist for that current Captain America series.
But is Marvel's the first time he actually did the whole series? Like he did like the pencils, like the interior.
He did the there was a DC series that was similar to that too that I forget which one came first, but
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely one of the breakout ones. But speaking of Captain America, we've got him featured here on this cover of what's going to be the next Buy It Now issue. It is Absolute Carnage Avengers #1. So this is a tie-in to last summer's Absolute Carnage storyline that kind of took over like a lot of Marvel's storylines, including the Avengers spinoff. This one is called the Codex variant. They had a lot of these variants that featured a lot more of the different Codex, Venom, and Carnage characters. So this one is the Codex variant. It's a 1 in 25 variant.
Yeah.
So it's a ratio variant, and we've got it at $10.
Really?
Oh yeah. We're just giving them away over here.
Wow, our customers are getting some good deals. It's a 1 in 25, so those are pretty sweet.
So for people who aren't familiar with the ratio variant concept, basically 1 in 25, what that means is for a retail store like us, we have to order at least 25 of the base or kind of like what they call like free variants. And then if we're able to meet that number of 25 in this case, we're able to order one of these guys. So, it makes it a little bit harder to come by. Some of the ratio things, people, love it or hate it. There are some crazy numbers, like there could be like a 1 in 100, 1 in 500. I think the highest I saw was, I believe it was for some Spider-Man one when I was working here, that was 1 in 2,500.
So how many of those they even print? Like 10 of them?
Yeah, exactly. So,
but I hate it though, because sometimes they're really badass covers, man. Like
I mean, like that's the thing is, a lot of times, it's a kind of set like variant artist, like that they have doing those, and they obviously get to spend more time working on it. They're not doing the interiors, also like usually the base cover artist. So it allows for kind of more time to be spent on that, just kind of like work out a concept or just show off more crazy detailing. So again, we've got for the next Buy It Now for $10, we have the Avengers. Absolute Carnage Avengers #1 tie-in to the Absolute Carnage storyline. Again, a 1 in 25 cover.
Do you have any variant covers in your collection?
Yeah, like I usually like the variant covers. Again, just because I don't know, I don't always have the most time these days to actually read them. So I'm just kind of like, just a kid in a candy store. Just that cover looks good, or falling. Sometimes you kind of fall into the trap where like the variant cover might be cooler than the actual insides, but at the same time, like if I think they're going to be seeing the most is usually the covers. So like it's more often than not, like people I've seen like get them framed, or when you get them slabbed, which we do have some CGC books later on to show off as part of the auctions. When you get it slabbed, it's kind of like getting it framed, so you could easily kind of show off the cover a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Do you frame your books?
No, but it's so definitely something that I've looked into. Depending on how you get it done, because they do have like some that are as simple as just kind of like a free floating kind of frame. Other times, you can get it like actually like inset with like a matte backing and like like a solid like wood painted frame too. Like it depends on how fancy you want to get with it. But right now my budget is more so just keeping them in a long box for now. So
understandable. Well, I like that variant we're doing right now is the Buy It Now. I didn't even really look at it, but that's got like Carnage is everybody. Is that female Carnage in the bottom?
Look here. Let me show you.
Yeah. So we got Venom in the bottom right, and then
these ones they call it like the Codex variant. Codex referring to like the codex of all of the different like Venom and symbiotes like characters. So like it's usually showing off like just specialized kind of characters in there, and then we've got the Avengers in this case kind of fighting them off. So
did you read Absolute Carnage?
No, I've got the like the Omnibus setup, just kind of ready and waiting for me to jump into. Because I mean, like I dipped into like parts here and there, and it was kind of the thing of like, all right, well, I'm really liking this, so I'm just gonna have to, I like to consume my my storylines kind of like all at once, or like not having to wait like week to week. So once I kind of got the taste of like enjoying it, I'm like, all right, well, I'm just gonna wait for the omnibus to come out, and then I'll start jumping into it then. So
Yeah, it's pretty sweet they're doing the omnibus so quick because that event just ended like this year or last year, like really recently. So they jumped on that right away.
exactly, yeah. I see in the chat here, John mentions that he likes framing his books, and that he has a copy of Hellblazer #1, which he's putting up on the wall. Which that's a great choice.
That is really cool.
Any of the Constantine stuff. I feel like underrated, but I don't know. I feel like he's kind of like a comics reader type hero. Like I feel like people who read comics usually know him, but like beyond, what was it? It was just the Keanu Reeves one. That's like the only actual like cinematic like kind of exposure he's gotten. Correct? Like that's the only
There's
a lot of people would have noticed him.
You're talking about Hellblazer, right?
Yeah.
There was an omnibus that was released today. I was on this some website. It went live at 2:00. By 2:13, it was sold out.
Oh man, that was
people.
Like
people
the
love
entirety
Hellblazer.
of his early stuff. Or
I'm not sure what it was because I'm not knowledgeable on him. So like I'd have to research what it collected. But does it tie into like anything else? Isn't it part of a universe?
I mean, like he was like I think born of like the Sandman universe and kind of spreading out from there. But yeah, now he's like part of like the DC like a lot of like the magic based teams, and like he's like he does a lot of supernatural stuff.
Okay, and he's still which do you want to ask that dude which Hellblazer #1? There's a couple different series.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are a lot of series, but I assume the original one.
The 1988 one. It looks just like a Sandman cover. That's cool as hell.
Yep, there you go, 1988.
Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got it pulled up right in front of me.
All right, so we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it here from the supernatural to some swords and sorcery for our #3 auction. We've got the Conan Original Marvel Years Omnibus Volume 3, and I believe it is the variant cover. So give me a second here to set that up. I'm gonna swap these. I think I'm probably gonna have to do that one just as its solo one up here, just because it's a big boy. So give me one moment here to rearrange the setup.
I will start bragging about it. So yeah, we're gonna be throwing up Conan the Barbarian, the original Marvel Years Omnibus Volume 3. If you've been following this streaming since we started, I love the Omnibus. It's my favorite platform to collect these old stories. So these collect the 1970 Conan the Barbarian series, this series of Omnibus, and this is Volume 3. So each of them have two covers. One is a direct market variant, which looks like one of the old school images. And then there's a cover B, which is what this is. So this is a new rendition by an artist that ties into the story. So this particular volume collects the 1970 to 1993 Conan the Barbarian
Roy Thomas,
series.
It looks like was the main writer for these ones. We've got the Conan the Barbarian. They call it the original years.
Yeah, original Marvel years.
The original Marvel years.
Yeah. So this one has issues 52 through 83, annuals 2 and 3, Conan book and record set.
That was the most. Yeah, because I like on the back. Just because I usually like a lot of covers. See the kind of transition of like the book over the years. Mm-hmm. But they show like the kind of like here's like a little tableau of all the different covers, and then all the way at the bottom here. Let me see if I can get that in there. They show off the Conan. I guess it was a record that it was part of. It's the Power Records 31.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Book and record set that it says, which I'm not familiar with those, but that does sound pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look.
I would definitely want to spin a vinyl while reading some Conan. That seems like they're kind of like made for each other, but
yeah, it's something. I agree.
And then it also collects. I don't know if you mentioned the FOOM FOOM magazine number 14.
I did not mention that.
So it does cover a lot of some Conan material. And this guy. Yeah. Hey there, Dave. Thanks for stopping by on Facebook here.
Is that the Ultimates guy?
Yes, yeah.
My
And
man.
anti-Ultimates Dave in the
I
chat
love
here
it.
saying floppies for life by Crom. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But today we've got a lot of some collections like the Omnibus, but it is mostly some floppies and some CGC books that we've been showing off so far. So for
Ask
this one,
David. Ask
yes,
him if he read his floppies or does he just collect them? Find
just a
out.
collector. Yeah, yeah. I know Dave. Dave knows his stuff. I'm sure he reads them. I
Yeah.
wouldn't put it
Okay.
past him. Yeah,
Cool.
he's
All
not
right.
like me, who's just a schlub that just enjoys like looking at the pretty pictures on the covers. But
I'm schlub too then. So
exactly, yeah, schlubs for life. Hey there, Huey. Thanks for stopping by. Not, what's up right now is we are showing off some sweet books. Right now we've got the auction number 3. We're showing off this item is the Conan Omnibus number volume 3. We've got that starting price at $60. Again, for those just joining us, the auctions are going to last basically 24 hours, I believe. From it's either when we start the stream or when we end the stream, but it'll last for 24 hours. And then it's dollar increments. So for right now, this guy we're starting off at $60, which is not that bad because the MSRP on it is $125.
that's a good deal for that.
So if you're interested in that one, you could start it at 60, and then the following bid will have to be at least marking up to 61. And then once those are done, we have a PayPal invoice that we could send out. The PayPal information is sales@pastimes.net. So we could square up on PayPal if that's preferable. Okay, yeah. Auctions end tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time, which is also incidentally when we're going to be starting our comics corner book club for the week, which is again, we kind of mentioned it earlier, Marvels. We're doing the 1994 series, famously kind of art by Alex Ross. So we're going to be getting back into that.
It's written by Kurt Busiek, and this is the first thing by him I've ever read. So
yeah, Huey, you can definitely message. Like I said, you can message our people on Facebook. You can shoot us up on Messenger or in here any kind of bids, and then same with your email for PayPal. We could get that information at the end of all this. So. And then yeah, so one more time, we've got the we've got the buy it now items, which this one is just a flat price. We've got Avengers, the Absolute Carnage Avengers #1 tie-in. We've got it marked at 10. It's a 1 in 25 cover, so it's a pretty solid deal on that. And then basically that's just kind of first come first serve. So anybody who's interested in that, we've already sold one of our buy it nows. You just let us know in the chat if that's what you're interested in, and we could we'll take it down and we'll swap it out with something, and then if it doesn't move in a little bit, we'll swap it out with something else just to kind of show what else we've got. Cool. And also a reminder to any of the buy it now or auction items, we have a flat shipping of $5. So basically, you add the $5 onto the end of that, and we'll be able to get your information to ship it out to you too. If not, if you are local too, we are here in Niles, Illinois. If you're one of our subscribers or just in the area, we are allowing for curbside pickup also. So if you are in the area or you're able to make the drive, feel free to let us know in the comments or when you're squaring up with the payment, and we could that would obviously cut down on the shipping cost because we could just have you meet us up here and drop it off for you. So
has that been going well? Have you been picking stuff up?
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard during some of our streams the phone's kind of going off. Unfortunately, not a whole lot I can do about it, but it is a good sign because it means that people are usually calling. We are comics, cards, collectibles, so we do have a lot of stuff here listed online, and just a lot of the locals too who know, like, hey, when I was last in here before this all shut down, I saw there was this item here. Do you still have that? And then we're taking cards over the phone, or like this where we do PayPal, and a lot of people are showing up to do the curbside. So it's been
Hey, last time I was in there was some like Wolverine PVC statue. Do you guys still have that?
Oh yeah, we are all set on toys. Maybe next time we should add sprinkle in a few more. We've gotten a lot of the kind of Marvel Select line of figures, which are actually, they're really solid. Like you mentioned, they're PVC. They're pretty large and obviously like painted. And they're usually kind of like, I believe, anywhere from like $25 to like $40, which is pretty good for a figure of that size. So
well, if we auction off the Wolverine one, I'll outbid anybody in that chat. So anybody out there watching now, I'm gonna outbid you.
Any Wolverine fans, yeah, step aside. We've got Johnny here.
Yeah, even though I could probably just buy it from us. No, I want to win it.
You got to play by the rules.
That's right.
$1 increments, Johnny.
Exactly.
All right.
So what else we got?
So yeah, let me we've got the Marvel Omnibus, the Conan, the original Marvel years for the Conan Barbarian Omnibus number 3. We've got the variant cover. Again, for those just joining us, it's at starting the auction is $60. And then the buy it now item that we have here is the Absolute Carnage Avengers number 1 in 25 variants for $10.
And if anybody cares for the Conan Omnibus, that's number 3. I know number 2 is still available. I don't know if we have it, but I know it's available to get if you were to win this auction and you want to keep buying the rest. And then number 4 is already solicited to come out later this year. We don't know when because of all the COVID stuff. So you can build that. Number 1's hard to find though, so you'd have to track that.
Yeah, the number 1 of omnibuses. Yeah, like we've talked about this before on and off stream because Johnny collects a lot of different omnibuses, especially like the Marvel. Which line is that? The Epic collections.
Well, yeah, those are the paperbacks. But
This nice hardcover over here.
But yeah, with I don't know, if you were to try to get all those, I think that, and you started with this, and then you get a number 2, and you can get number 4. Like you've already got a really good chunk of Conan. So if you're into that, like this is the.
And the nice thing is, we mentioned it collects, at least for the regular Conan issues, it's 52 to 83. So you are getting a good chunk of just Conan books there too. So like, you know, you're able to see the starts and ending of different storylines too. So you can still kind of jump in and appreciate, you know, the different story arcs. So.
Something just because I know this about Conan, because of the licensing agreement that Marvel has with them, they have to constantly be releasing stuff in order to keep the license. So like they're going to finish that line. Like
I believe it's coming to like public domain. So like
is it? Okay.
Yeah, so they do have there are other comic franchises that use like the Conan the Hyperion and like a lot of their like the Pirate Queen and like a lot of those ones they kind of are using similar characters. But yeah, for Marvel to hold on to that, there are a lot of Conan titles coming out. Yeah, and
this series that they're collecting runs from 1970 through 1993. So that's a huge stretch. So considering that's only 52 to 88 or whatever it is, I mean that's a huge chunk, but there's going to be a lot more. So that's a good book to have. And once these go out of print, they're stupid expensive and hard to find. So if this is something you want, like getting it now, it's not because I'm trying to push it. Like as a collector, you get these when you can, because once they're gone, hard to find. Very hard.
Because again, right now, the MSRP on this one especially is $125. So we've got it at $60 right now for the starting of the auction. So a little under half for something that, like you mentioned, like once they are out of print, they usually, I feel like, double or triple in value. I had speaking of people calling in, I had somebody calling in about a specific, I think it was the Secret Wars omnibus and how he was looking for that, seeing if we had. I told him unfortunately not. And the last time I saw that, like, for sale, it was either on eBay or on Amazon. They were asking for like $600-700 for that. So something that like retailed for about like 100 or a little bit less, I think it was, is now $600 or $700. So
and then the last thing I'll say about these two is with the omnibuses, they actually, the program that Marvel has that produces those, they actually go back and retouch and recolor all of the, so they're remastered versions of the original stories, so they're very crisp. They're not just digitally colored and like slapped together. These get a lot of love, so that's also why the price point is so high. So last thing I'll say about that.
All right, so let me swap some of these out here real quick, and I'll get auction items. I'll get numbers 4 and 5, and then I'll swap out a new buy it now item. So give me one moment.
What are those, so I can start talking about them? What's 4 and 5?
4 and 5, we have X Factor number 6, which people may know as the first full appearance of Apocalypse, and we've got Daredevil number 227. Which was, I believe, when Kingpin learns Daredevil's secret identity.
Spoilers!
Spoilers! Oh boy, well, to be fair, you can't actually read this one because I was going to say these ones are actually we've got these ones CGC'd, so they're slabs. So you're gonna have to take an ice pick to get in there anyway to see who exactly this Daredevil character is. So give me one moment.
You got it. So, all right, I'm gonna tell you guys a secret that we're gonna keep between all of us. These two books that he's pulling up, they're actually my copies that I sold to the store years ago. They're pretty cool. So I actually really like these covers a lot. So I have a lot of good stuff to say about them. For a while, I was trying to get all of my books slabbed, so that's why I sent these in. But then after a while, I don't know, I thought they looked cooler in a regular frame out instead of CGC, so I swapped back to that. So I sold these. But yeah, the first one we're going to be selling, X Factor 6, is the first appearance of Apocalypse, which is really cool. For a while there, this was a super hot book when the movie Apocalypse was coming out. It's died down a little bit, the hype for this book, but it's the first appearance of a major villain and one of the best-selling series ever, X-Men. So it's always going to be a good book to have. The fact that this one is slab, the value is never going to go down. It's only going to go up. It's just how high up is it going to go? I think it's a 9.0, so it's a pretty clean copy. We're gonna, he'll obviously put it on display and we'll double check, but it's a nice book. I love the cover because it actually features Apocalypse. Sometimes with some of these first appearance issues, they don't actually have the character on the cover, which is always kind of a bummer to me. I don't always collect those. Like, just because it has a first appearance doesn't mean I want it. It has to actually have a cool cover. So there it is. Look at that. I mean, that's sweet. It's got the whole original team on it. You got Iceman, Cyclops, Beast, Angel, Marvel Girl, and then Apocalypse face. Like, that's sweet cover. I always got the direct market variants so that they had the little Spider-Man heads in the corner instead of a barcode. I think those are really clean looking books. That's sweet. So the cover of that one is done by, let me see. Yeah, it's Ron Frenz and Joe Rubinstein. I think Ron Frenz did the Thanos quest we just read. I'm gonna have to ask Mike. I think he did. I might be wrong about that. So X Factor 6, pretty sweet book. And then Daredevil 227. That's not really a key issue of any type. I know that Mike said, like, spoilers, Kingpin finds out Daredevil's identity, but as far as key issues, that one doesn't really count as one by itself. It doesn't go for too much money, but I always thought that cover was super sweet. The tones, like the background, you have the skylight or the skyline that looks really 1980s. Like, Mike and I have talked about, like,
I was gonna say, I heard Skyline. I assume you're talking about the Daredevil number 227 over here.
Yeah, and I was saying it kind of looks very 80s, just like we were saying the Watchmen did and the Batman Year One. It's got that same feel to it. So that's a New York skyline.
Kingpin in the background there.
Yeah, I always
wondering who this could be, and maybe he finds out.
But I was always a big fan of that shade of blue in the background. So for a cover, I thought it was sweet. That's why I got that book slabbed. So 9.2, pretty high grade. It's ironic that issue is called Apocalypse and it's next to X Factor 6 versus
There we go.
Yeah. So you should buy both if you're going to.
Yeah, it makes a good bundle right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just telling everybody about those books because I happen to know a lot about them. So yeah, the one on the left there, X Factor 6, first appearance of Apocalypse, by Ron. Oh, is the artist? It's Ron Frenz. Is that the same guy who did Thanos Quest that we just read? I think it is. Am I wrong?
Who did the cover art here?
Yeah, that cover's done by Ron Frenz. And isn't that the same guy who drew Thanos Quest that we just read?
I believe so. Yeah, Frenz.
I thought that name. Dude, every time I type Thanos into my computer, it autocorrects to thanks. It's very annoying.
Thanks, Quest number 1.
Yeah, it just did it again. God bless it. Okay, Thanos Quest. But yeah, I was talking to you about how that's like a key issue, and it's a first appearance. It's a sweet cover. It's a high grade. It's slab. Yeah. That's a really good. And you know what? The other thing too, if you're the type of person that prospects books, X-Men is going to be in the MCU sometime in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
If they ever use Apocalypse, that's going to shoot right back up.
Yeah, I know they had Apocalypse in that previous movie line that wasn't as good. So I'm sure that they're probably going to have to give him a retreatment at some point to kind of do more justice to him.
Hey, actually, I just pulled up Thanos Quest. We are wrong. It was not Ron Frenz. It was Ron Lim. But I knew Ron.
Lim. Oh, yes. I
knew it. that part looked familiar. But anyway, yeah, what do you think? Do you like that cover? I always thought it was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's an iconic cover. You know, you've got Apocalypse screaming out, and then the anguished kind of poses of all the like it's very classic kind of like here are some very comic book poses of like the kind of exaggerated movements, and especially in like Cyclops over there just getting tossed aside.
I always love any cover that has Angel on it. I love his wings,
exactly.
and like those are really good wings because different artists draw them different. It's like Wolverine's claws. Like I have like 20 different covers with Wolverine, and all of his claws look different. And then with Angel, like people draw his wings different. Those are cool. They're really feathery. I like that. I like the X Factor outfits. They're very simple.
Yeah, they're classic.
They are classic. And then, yeah, for those who don't know, X Factor came out in 1986. It's the original 5 X-Men reformed as a new team called X Factor. I'm not going to get any more spoilers, but Apocalypse first appeared in that issue right there. Anybody who watched the animated series, probably a big Apocalypse fan. They really did a good job.
Yeah. I think that's probably because I mean back then I wasn't reading as many X-Men comic books. Here and there I'd get one, but I feel like like my main exposure to the X-Men was the animated series. So like that was kind of my first exposure to Apocalypse. And I think that's kind of how I always envisioned him going forward was based off of that.
Yeah, that guy's voice is definitely how
I was gonna say he's got a great voice for it. So that's what I hear when I'd like read the pages later on of anything that included Apocalypse. So
yeah, and then I was telling everybody about the Daredevil that like it's not really a key issue per se, but I just thought it was such a cool cover.
And I agree. And it was mentioned in the chat too that like the red of Daredevil's outfit definitely helps pop against that like that light blue skyline in the background.
Yeah, and then you got like the pink Apocalypse writing that's right below the blue of the background. The cotton candy. Always
foreshadowing our duo here of CGC books.
Yeah. So that's cool. Oh, and then if you don't know, that story there, the Daredevil one, that's written by Frank Miller, drawn by David Mazzucchelli, and
I was gonna say a recurring combo from our previous book week or book club book
the Batman Year One
ago. Batman Year One.
And that also is the kickoff issue of his 6-issue series Born Again, which covers Daredevil 227. Oh no, that might be issue 2. It's 226 through 233. I got to look that up, but not that important. But it's one of the Born Again.
While you're checking it up, talking about some key issues here, we've got a modern key issue of The Walking Dead number 193.
That's sweet.
This one is a first print. Let me see if I can get this here where it would normally show. It's like right under the price. If it were a second print, it would say second print. So this one is the first print. And it is the final issue of The Walking Dead.
Hold on real quick. That is, it's 226 to 233. So that's issue 2 of that Born Again.
Awesome.
But Walking Dead 193, dude. Okay, for people who don't know, Walking Dead book is phenomenal. Like the show definitely got overhyped. I'm gonna just rant for a second. That's overhyped.
Real quick, let me mention that we have it. It's buy it now, so it'll be up here for about like 15 or so minutes. It is a flat price of $7. That one's not auctioned, so if you're interested in it, feel free to mention in the chat, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you are, and let us know that you're interested in it. And that one, like we said, is kind of first come, first serve. And then again, everything that's bought here, it's a flat. We're doing a flat $5 shipping. So if you're getting multiple items, that's great. We are also again offering for people who are local. We could do curbside pickup Mondays through Saturdays from 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. So if you prefer to save on the shipping and you're local, just let us know too when you're kind of checking out with us at the end here. So
and also, if you buy multiple auctions, you save on shipping if you get them shipped.
Exactly. Per book. It's a flat $5 per package that we're sending out. So
okay, that's not
yes,
bad.
I believe you were going to tell me how much you loved the Walking Dead show.
Oh yeah, but it deserved every Emmy it was nominated for, and I don't even know if it was nominated for anything. But the show, I guess the point I want to make is that people who got introduced to it by the show don't understand how much better the book is. Like, and I'm not trying to rip on the show. It's just the book is like 10 out of 10 all the way through. And for those who don't know, it was not solicited to end at issue 193. I love this. This is
that's
so cool. It was not solicited to end at 193. They already had solicitations for like 194 and
I was gonna say like 95 or so. I think I remember because I was doing the ordering at the time, and I'm like, and then that kind of snuck in on us. Like, oh, whoa.
Right. And it didn't get canceled or anything. That was the plan, because
exactly,
read the book. The book does way better than the TV show is that, like, the feeling of death is like real, and it just happens out of nowhere. It's not like built up. You get characters that are introduced and then killed. Like, there's no getting to know them. And so Robert Kirkman wanted the end of the series to have that same like sense of like surprise and finality. So the day before that issue came out, we found out it was going to be the last one. So,
exactly, because also 193, you know, it's getting close to issue 200, which people were kind of definitely speculating. It's like, all right, you know, it's a nice round number. Issue 100 was a huge issue in The Walking Dead too, so they figured that, you know, like 200 would be a very fitting place to end it too. But yeah, like you said, you know, just kind of 193 just kind of getting sent out again, with all the solicitation for future issues. And, you know, it wasn't, like basically until that day that you had, you know, the final evidence that, oh, that is the end. At the end of that, it's like, oh, I guess, you know, that's the end of the series. So
it sold out quick. I actually called. I wasn't working there yet, but I called the store. It was like, "Is that any 193s?" And whoever answered was like,
"Probably
crazy?"
me."
And I was like,
exactly.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. I should have known better.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, again, nobody really knew at the time. Like you said, like it was just kind of speculation that it was getting close, it was going to end. And then like once, you know, it hit the stand, because again, like people had, you know, ordered again for the next few issues, so they were, you know, maybe not fully even ramped up, getting closer to 200, which people were expecting to be the end. So like when it sold out, it sold out. So there are second printings, and that's why I showed again up here.
First printing is a big deal, man.
Sometimes certain companies will have different ways of doing second printings. Like Marvel will sometimes have like a full variant cover for it. DC has been doing kind of recently kind of having like the base cover art, but having like a kind of like red and white wash over it. But for this one, the way in which you would know if it's a second print or not is right under the issue number and the price. It'll say second printing. So since this one doesn't, you know, an easy way to kind of tell which printing it is.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised we even had that, because like I said, it's sold. I know we're a comic store, so we get comic books. But I mean, that's really cool that we have that, because I know we did have a pile of second printings, and I saw that and was like, oh my god, look at this pile of gold. And then I noticed it was second printing, because you're right, it is kind of hard to tell with that one. So
sometimes you just got to be you know, careful. You know, if you know that a book does have second printing, you know, like be sure to check around and take a look at the covers themselves. I'm a very visual person, so like that's like I go off of covers, so like just to know what you're looking for when you're actually kind of trying to determine, you know, because again, you know, if you're looking for the value of the comic, or if you just wanted to read it yourself, you know, you just knowing what you're looking for is the best. So
yeah, and actually I would think that's a good investment at $7, because that first issue is the highest, or how do I want to word this?
Yeah, like
it's the most valuable book of the last
modern comics. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you have to go back to Ninja Turtles #1 in 1984 to find a comparable book. That's a long time. I imagine that final issue will eventually gain. I think I will gain some more value.
Yeah, and if nothing else, I mean, you know, like it's a thicker bound book. It's got a nice cover. You know, like the value's there, even just, you know, as a bigger book. And you know, like if you read the series, you know, like it's good to have, you know, that kind of final chapter of it too. So
agreed. Did you read it? I read it. Did you like it? Did you read it?
Yeah. So I had dropped in and out of The Walking Dead a few times. So I wasn't like, when I read, you know, 193 just kind of out of curiosity and, you know, to see how they actually kind of wrapped it up. Even though I wasn't following like fully at the time. But yeah, no, it was good. It was a good send off, and like you said, just kind of unexpected. You know, for when you're reading along. But the way in which they handled it, I think was really good. So
yeah, I totally respect it. And then there was also that factor of like it never got bad because you killed it off when it was still good. So like it sucks that you kill it off, but I really respect Kirkman for that. Like,
Yeah.
He lost some respect because of the show, but then he did that, and I'm like, all right, man, you know what
Yeah.
you're doing.
And that's a good point too. Yeah, the kind of like ending a series kind of when you feel like it works best, instead of like maybe like another 10 years from now we'd be auctioning off Walking Dead number like 476 or something like that. Like they kind of took it out at a good point. And it made for an interesting, if nothing else, I think it is like kind of an interesting like almost historical piece of just that kind of surprise. Nobody saw that ending coming, like you mentioned too, like they were even soliciting like issues beyond this, like to kind of increase
Yeah.
the kind of the surprise for people. So
Well, and I think that's why I think it's so cool, because in a time where like what new thing could you do in comic books, he found something to do there by like just, and I know things have gotten canceled like that, but that wasn't canceled, that was planned, so it's unique. I think it's cool. So yeah, I don't know, do you have anything more to say about these books?
I was going to say, I think we're going to hop on to the next two in our series here for auctions. Cool. We have more CGC books. We have Amazing Spider-Man 400. We have the die cut variant that's CGC'd, and Venom #1 of the 4-part miniseries. We have that also CGC'd. So give me a moment here to swap these out. I'll leave the Buy It Now book up here for a little bit longer, and then I'll swap these guys out here. So give me 1 second.
Okay. So yeah, the books he's going to grab right now. We got Venom Lethal Protector, which is a 1993 miniseries. I don't know much about it. It's a 6-issue series. I got the info pulled up right in front of me. I'm kind of cheating with this one. The other 2 books I knew so much about off the top of my head. This one not so much. But let's see. This one's going to be CGC'd at 9.0, I think. So again, pretty high grade, pretty investment. Looks like it's a Mark Bagley cover. He's a good. The time Carnage got introduced, I'm pretty sure he did the first Carnage cover, so he knows how to draw a symbiote, depending which pronunciation you use. I think it's symbiote, but yeah, so that's a pretty cool cover. It's it's an issue 1. I'm gonna have to confirm this with Mike. I think the movie might have been based off of this storyline, but I might be making that up. But I think I remember reading that somewhere. And then the Amazing Spider-Man issue there on the left, number 400, spoiler free. There's a death of a character in there. I'm not going to say who, but it's a pretty big issue. It's number 400. Mike, you back? You got that thing in your?
So I've got got the thing in my ear. Yeah. So I've got I heard you talking about Amazing Spider-Man number 400. Again, this one is the die cut variant. So it's kind of this glossy white. It takes after the tombstone shape. Mm-hmm. This issue may involve some death. We've got it's a 9.4 CGC. On the back here, it shows that that this particular variant was a 1 in 10,000 run.
So you thought 1 in 25 was cool. That one's 1 in 10,000. Different kind of ratio, but yeah.
I was gonna say a little different, but yeah, it still shows off that it wasn't just the kind of base cover that came out.
So that one, let's see. Oh, you know what? That also might be a Mark Bagley cover, which is crazy because so is the Venom one. I don't have that info here. Oh yeah, cover by Bagley. Yeah, so both those covers are by Mark Bagley. So like I said, he was drawing Amazing Spider-Man at that time. They must have also given him that Venom series. So
yeah, this one again, Venom #1 of a popular series, and also just a pretty iconic cover that the black on red.
It's cool. I love Venom.
Do you tough to tell here, but it's like kind of a foiled cover too, so the red itself is shiny there.
Yeah, you can see it when you're going up and down. The lights were.
And then a 9.0 on there too for the rating.
And so was the movie? Did you see the Venom movie? Yes or no?
Yes.
You did. Okay. Was that based off Lethal Protect? It was based off some miniseries. I don't know.
Yeah, they mentioned they gave Tom Hardy, the actor who played Eddie Brock in that and Venom 2.
He played Bane in Batman.
Exactly. Yeah, known for the DC universe for being Bane. But they mentioned, I remember reading an interview where they talked about I forget who the director was for that one, but they gave him copies of Planet of Symbiotes and then Lethal Protector as kind of what they were going for in terms of the story, but also kind of to help get him in the mindset of the character. Like two storylines that he was pretty known for,
Yeah.
or that people kind of knew Venom through. But yeah, we have the kind of just an iconic image again of Venom #1 of, I'm sorry, it was a 6-part series, not 4, but yeah, the lethal.
But I love
Yeah,
talk about that Venom cover because I love Venom so much. So Mark Bagley really nails it because he's got the teeth, which Todd McFarlane, who created Venom, originally
yeah,
did not draw him with teeth. That came along later with Eric Larson, who kind of added that look. Same with the Green Drool. So anything that
yeah.
comes after that, it should have those two
I was gonna
features.
say, yeah, like those are definitely the iconic ones. Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's the big tongue. Yeah, like the rows of like sharp like shark teeth. Yeah, just like
yeah.
these like just needles, and then yeah, like the like you mentioned, yeah, like the green drool is just a great way to show off, because like he is an alien entity. Like what better way to kind of show off that he's not just from around here. So
Yeah, and like kind of like we were saying with the last books, like X-Men the animated series, because of our age, was a big influence. Spider-Man the animated series and Venom, like as a kid, Venom stood out. Venom and Carnage, like
oh
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
awesome. I was a kid when the Maximum Carnage series was coming out, so
Mhm.
like those villains were highlighted so much. So I've always had a soft spot for Venom. So I'm sure some of the fans out there, like some of the people watching, are big symbiote fans. Anybody want to comment on that? Maybe. What do you think? Do you like the symbiotes, or is that overplayed for you?
Um, it's kind of a mix. I mean, like we mentioned with some of the absolute carnage, that variant that we showed off, like the idea of the codex and all of these symbiotes that they're throwing out. Real quick, Temple, in the video, is everything still going right? I saw it flicker for a second there, but okay, yeah. But yeah,
Good.
so for the symbiotes, um, it's definitely one of those kind of concepts where it's like, all right, here's kind of like the crazy liquidy inky version of character. But now, like I feel like it might be a well that they're jumping back to a little too much. Like there's definitely some room for like, I think it works well with certain characters, whether it is just, here's Captain America that was, like he got the symbiote attached to him.
Sure.
But if you're just kind of hitting all those notes just for kind of the sake of it, um, you know, that's where I feel like it kind of loses some of the interest for me. It's very much like almost like GI Joe or Transformers era of like, all right, well, we're just kind of adding on these different varying characters just to kind of sell merchandise. But there are certain versions of well, I mean, also like the standalone characters, like I believe was it Riot that they used in the Venom movie, like the actual like separate symbiotes themselves, like Riot, Scream, like a lot of those guys are actually pretty cool because they're actually like the fleshed out characters. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the symbiotes got a little overdone for me after Venom and Carnage. I was like cool with that, and then when they introduced more, I was like overwhelmed. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
those ones. Hey, real quick, I do want to say you just mentioned something I totally have been meaning to bring up. You mentioned Transformers. Have you read? I'm not trying to change it too much. Have you read
No,
More Than Meets the Eye? We got to add that to our list. So many people
sure, yeah.
talking.
Was that the IDW one? Because I
Yeah,
know I've heard of, yeah, like the IDW, them taking over like the Transformers properties. I've heard good stuff on it.
yeah.
One of the previous comics managers was also very big on it, and like
That's why I know.
he pointed that out. Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
like I'm definitely down to take a look at that. Yeah, like maybe I'm sure tomorrow after we talk about the Marvels, maybe we could dip into some indie stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd be cool. So I just wanted to say that while you had my mind on it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
anything you want to say about these books? I mean, they're like I said, the one on the left, pretty cool key issue, death of a character. One
Yeah,
on the right,
I was gonna
number
say
one.
I was gonna say the 400 I wasn't personally as familiar with, but yeah, the Venom stuff. I've got a friend who's also very big into Venom too, and yeah, like you mentioned too, like with the cartoon characters, like or the cartoon shows, like that definitely got me interested in Venom as a kid too. Like my brother was big into it too, so like I just through osmosis, like I kind of have a lot of appreciation for the character. Though I think always more of a Carnage fan. Which speaking of
Yeah.
movies, I guess we'll see how they do that. How Woody Harrelson stands up to Cletus Cassidy as Carnage. So,
Did you like the movie? I didn't even ask you.
oh, the Venom one,
Yeah.
not so much.
Okay.
Like it was cool. Like I like Tom Hardy as an actor. I think he did pretty all right in that. But there's yeah some kind of off moments in that one. Again, maybe it's just because I think these days people kind of expect every superhero movie to basically be a Marvel movie. So it's a little bit harder to kind of maybe meet some of those expectations, whether it's like, uh, how many star actors are in there, like whether it's like the CG, all these kind of different effects that they use in there, like, if it doesn't like meet those standards, or like even the pacing to some degree too, because that movie felt like it was a little bit slower. And granted, like I think that came out around when like was the Infinity Gauntlet in the Marvel Cinematic Universe came out. So like taking it from this like 10-year spanning lead up to this 2-part epic to coming down to like the street level type stuff that Venom was, might be a little bit of like a whiplash for people. But I don't know, I honestly kind of like these smaller stories like that, because you kind of get to see the character more and just kind of spend more time with them, instead of just like the kind of like world traveling CGI fest that some like the later movies can become. So
how did you feel about the CGI in Venom? Did it look good to you?
I thought there were some off parts. I mean, yeah, like that's the thing is, like a man whose suit is basically kind of like constantly flowing ink in some ways. Like it's the CGI kind of makes or breaks it. I think like when it was kind of static on him, it wasn't that bad, but there was a few moments where it's like when he's talking to like the symbiote and it's like coming off him, like it's maybe a bit much, but
okay.
I guess we'll see how the new movie does. So.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out, because I heard a few people I know and trust thought it was good, but they're not comic fans, so I'm like, they're just movie fans.
Sure.
So I don't know how to take their opinion. So I want to check it out though.
Yeah. All right. Speaking about checking some things out, I think we're going to dip into the last two items that we have here for the auctions, and then I'll swap out the buy it now for. I'll grab one more thing here for you.
We just have one more or two?
Two more for the auctions. We have
what do we got?
Numbers 8. We have Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad. It's an April Fool's special. It is a black and white retailer incentive variant, CGC'd, and signed by, or sorry, not CGC'd, but let me grab it here.
CBCS. Yeah, go CBCS. Talk about
yeah.
Okay. What else you got? Wildcats, maybe. Okay. All right. So, yeah, we got coming up the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn April Fool's special. It's a mouthful. From 2016. This one is, in fact, autographed by a one Jim Lee, pretty world-renowned artist of comic books. This one is graded not by CGC, but by CBCS, which is another grading company. So, it's still graded. The grade is respectable. What is it, 9.2? And it's a respectable company. It's just not CGC. So still a good deal. I believe this one is certified with the autograph, because we have another book, I think it's number 9, that's Wildcats, that's also autographed by Jim Lee, but this one is not certified, if that's the book we're doing. So that's going to be the differences between those. But as far as this one, this 2016 special is looking like it was just a one-shot. I'm trying to find some info on it. I'm not a big Suicide Squad fan, so I really don't know much about it. But I know people love Harley Quinn, and I know people love Jim Lee. And this, we were talking about the retailer incentive variants earlier. That one's a 1 for 50. So I think the highest we had so far in the show was a 1 for 25. So 1 for 50, that's a pretty good incentive ratio. Plus it's autographed, plus it's graded. So probably a pretty good investment piece. I'm not the biggest fan of the CGC or CBCS, like I said, personally, for my collection. But as far as profiting and selling and reselling, they're such a safe bet, because then you can't have somebody telling you that it's worth less than it's worth. Like, if you want to overcharge for it or something, that's something you have to decide. But I was just saying the value of having like a graded book. Like gives you a baseline, like you don't sell it for less than this amount. So if that's what you're trying to do and sell and prospect, graded books are a good investment.
Exactly, yeah, because like the CBCS or the CGC, like what it is it's basically like, even though grading is kind of subjective, like it's not like a set like scientific model of like, all right, if there's 10 scuffs, like you have to knock it off this many points. Like it does come down to who it is and who they're grading. But like the idea is between CBCS and like CGC, it's we are putting our trust in them that they, they've seen enough copies. And also the thing is too, is they usually have like these kind of libraries of, especially like bigger key issues. They've seen, dozens, hundreds, thousands of versions of that book, and they're able to have like the scans and kind of compare it to other books of similar grades. So it's a good way to kind of see, how to kind of form a better idea of what the grade is on a book. And then, it takes like you mentioned, the guesswork out of it too, because if you're listing it secondhand on eBay, or even, just trying to like sell it or show it off, like having that number there definitely helps show like, all right, like I know that, like it's at least, this quality. So it helps with the pricing, because especially for like key issues, when you get into like the, it's a 0.5 scale normally. Like it starts from like, like 0.5 to, 1, 1.5. When you get to the nines, 9.0 and up, it becomes like a 0.2 scale. So 9.2, 9.4. It was Kevin in the Facebook chat. What Venom number 1 was it? It was the Venom number 1 Lethal Protector. Let me give me 1 second. I can grab it again here.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, and the other thing with the CGC books or the grading, once they're slabbed, they're really well protected. I mean, not impenetrable, but you would really have to be trying to damage one of those books.
For Kevin in the Facebook, it was this one. It was the Venom number 1 Lethal Protector.
Okay.
It's CGC'd, it's the foil cover red, and it was a 9.0 grading in CGC.
Yeah, and then we should talk about the labels too for a second, because I was kind of mentioning that when you were away for a minute about the qualified and unqualified.
Oh yeah. Because we'll get into that for the Wildcats one. So I guess we can start here with the Harley Quinn and Suicide Squad April Fool's special. That one, again, Harley Quinn, obviously big name in the DC roster as far as kind of like female characters. She's one that people definitely know, especially after the movie of the Harley Quinn and Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. This one is a 9.2. It was a retailer incentive variant, so it's this kind of black and white version of one of the covers. And up top here, it is signed by Jim Lee. So yeah, on the labels there, it does mention, certified, and yeah, that it was the Jim Lee signature up top too.
So that means that whoever graded it confirmed 100% that is
exactly. Yeah, they were able to
Mike signing in as Jim Lee or someone.
As much as I wish I could do that. I was gonna say,
I'm gonna ask you something about artists. Do you think they write letters or draw them? Like, did he draw his autograph or did he write it? Because he's an artist.
That's deep, man. Yeah, exactly.
I know. I've always wanted to ask that to a group of nerds, and now I have. Thank you.
A group of nerds. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Write it right in the chat. I want to know too. Did he write his autograph or did he draw? I mean, obviously, like
draw letters.
I'd say draw for certain artists. Like his is kind of straightforward. I mean, I guess it's a lot more geometric than actually showing off his name. I've seen some artists, I can't name offhand, but like certain artists, like they will, part of their signature will be like, almost like a small little drawing or a little caricature with it too. So that one definitely, whoa, we're getting some takes here. In the Twitch chat, we have Drew written down as there, or unless that, or maybe that person's name is Drew and they're just letting you know that.
I thought actually when you said that. No, Andrew.
But yeah, no, that is a valid. And again, yeah, like you said, since he is the artist of the book, maybe it does make sense. So maybe, I think he drew it on there. A nice drawing here by Jim Lee on top of the actual drawing by Jim Lee.
Wow.
And so next we will get to the Wildcats number 1, the image book. So this one we get into the qualified of. We had sent this one in. I think it was last year. Really good condition. So Wildcats number 1. And at the top here, it's signed by Jim Lee. I guess that one, I guess we could say he signed. He didn't draw that one because it wasn't official. 9.0 as for the quality of it. And let me show you here, because what came with it that we included with sending it was, I guess for this signing one, it took place at Moondogs. And he signed this too, but this was back in the 90s, and especially for signatures of bigger names, whether it's artists or writers, they do care a lot about the authenticity and ways to kind of verify it. You know, even though this may have been enough verification back then, you know, because it was like, hey, here's the event that he was at, which took place in Chicago,
Yeah.
and all that. It does make it a kind of more difficult line to kind of trace and you know, trace back to see like, all right, you know, was this an actual signature? Like, there's stories about how like CGC will usually have a booth at like Comic
Yeah.
Cons or other big
Saying this.
conventions,
Yeah.
and you'll basically have somebody that could come from the CGC booth to follow you like with your item to like whatever artist alley or whatever signing booth that's taking place, and they'll
Yeah.
basically like be there to like watch over it, to like be a witness, and then like follow you back, making sure that like no point along the way did do they lose contact with it or sight of it, you know, to make sure that you know like, what I saw being signed by this person, you know, was what happened, you know, to kind of help verify that. So like, there's a lot more stringent recommendations and requirements for you know, signatured books like that. So
Yeah. So if it would have gone through that process, it would have gotten a gold label instead of a
yes,
green one.
gold label is like up top here. Like the blue ones that we've seen earlier on the other books were just kind of like they call it like
That's
the
standard.
universal
Yeah.
grades. Yeah, that's, you know, usually no signatures, nothing crazy there. That's just, hey, here's this book and it's quality. Gold is for a book that's been signed and verified.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the green is signed and unverified.
And then there's a purple label if the book has been retouched or recolored.
Yes, yeah, that's a little bit different. Yeah, that's usually what you don't want, retouching, you know.
Correct.
Because I mean, any kind of collections, you know, hobbies or circles, like yeah, like you usually want to leave it kind of as is, because that adds, like they call it like the patina and stuff like that when it comes to like metal antiques. But yeah, like because also it gets into the shady questioning of, were you trying to kind of cover up or misrepresent what you have? So yeah,
Right.
the purple label, yeah, mentions like if there was color touch or other kind of um, retouching of it. And also real quick here, for the last buy it now item, I'm going to swap out here the Walking Dead.
Sure.
And I've got here some other Image comics, Image and DC. I thought it was fitting for these two books that we've got here. We've got Spawn and Batman.
Hell yeah. That's funny that you have this out, because I've been really doing a lot of research on Spawn lately. I had a base knowledge on 1992, created by Todd McFarlane and all that. But I guess there's some really sought out hardcover collections that have the first like 100 issues or so of Spawn that I'm looking into getting. Have you ever read it? I'm hearing mixed reviews on the actual story, but a lot of people, the artwork, like
yeah, I was gonna say, like, obviously, yeah, the art and stuff like that. Like Spawn, like I feel like was definitely very cool when I was a little bit younger. Like, you know, it's just like, you know, dude from hell. He's got an iconic look. Also, real quick, I didn't mention here the Spawn and Batman by Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane we have here at $12.
It is Frank Miller. I was just looking it up. Yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say we can't escape him.
No,
that the Frank Miller and Alan Moore Power Hour, brought to you by Pastimes.
We should start getting a nickel from Frank every time we drop his name.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, he can't afford that.
Not these days.
Not these days. Sorry, Frank. What are we asking for that book? That's a sweet crossover. That's
$12. Great condition, American. And yeah, like you said, it's 12 American. And then for those of you who just joined us now too, any auctions, whether it's buy it now or the actual auctions, we're just asking a flat $5 shipping. So that's if you get multiple items, it's just $5. And we are also, for local people, for those of you who aren't familiar but are tuning in, we are based in Niles, Illinois. So we have been given the go-ahead this last week to do curbside again. So if you're a subscriber here, a customer, or just in the area and you see this, we could do curbside also. So that'll obviously waive the $5 shipping. So if that's preferable, then we can do that too. So and any payments we could take over PayPal, sales at pastimes.net, or let us know in the Facebook chat or Messenger, whatever you're interested in, and we could send out an invoice if that's easier too. So
rock and roll. Yeah, that's I own that book, the Batman Spawn one. I think for a while there, Batman was doing a crossover with everybody. I have Batman Turtles. I have Batman Spider-Man. I've got
Batman
Batman.
Turtle's still going strong too. They're on like
Yeah,
volume
that's a
3 or
newer
whatever.
one. You're
Yeah,
right.
still good
There's
though.
actually, but yeah, Batman was doing crossovers with everybody, and that I think's got to be the coolest one, just because of the like.
Yeah, I
Frank
was
Miller
gonna say
comic
like
cover.
that's an iconic a great cover up there too. Yeah, just two great
Yeah.
characters.
So have you read that book? Because I haven't. I own it, but I haven't read it. I'm bad about that.
It's okay. I'm definitely in the same boat too. Of I so during all this pandemic stuff, it's obviously given us a bit more free time outside of this.
Yeah.
And I've been spending that not only being able to read, catching up on some reading, and also like getting to couple that with our book clubs. Which again, for those who are tuning in might not be familiar, tomorrow at the same time, starting at 4 p.m. Central. It goes about 2 hours, so till about like 6 p.m. We've been talking about the past few weeks. We pick a book and we have a week to do our homework, read up on it, and kind of write down our thoughts. So then we can kind of come back, meet here and discuss it for a couple hours. What we're going to be doing for this week is Marvels, the 1994, basically like 4 or 5 part series, drawn by Alex Ross. The writer's name escapes me on it right now. I've got it written in my. What's that?
Kurt Busiek.
There we go. I was gonna say I've got it in my like Rorschach journal of notes somewhere, but yeah, we're gonna be talking about that kind of stuff. So fortunately, I've had some downtime to catch up on reading like that, but also it's given me time to kind of reorganize my books and graphic novels and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there staring at them like, man, even if I went through like this chunk in 1 week, this chunk in 1 year, like how long it would take. I'm like, I don't think I don't think I have enough time to actually catch up on all the books that I have. But it's nice thought.
I know that's something that worries me. Like when I'm spending all this money, I'm like, am I ever actually going to even have the time to do this? But that doesn't stop me from spending it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I mean, I also like I like collecting. Like I like to have like the full sets of certain runs, especially like ones that I've read and I've liked. Because like some of them like honestly like I'm just kind of rebuying because I had them as a kid, and like whether I lost it or give it to a friend and then kind of got up legs and walked away, or like I sold it, or parents threw out. Like it's kind of being able to kind of go back and recollect those books that I remember and liking as a kid, whether it was like just single issues or like full on like graphic novels. So like that's part of it for me too, is I just like the collecting of it too. So that, and also organizing, there's kind of a weird meditative thing. I mean, granted we get to do it here at work, but also like just at home, just kind of like putting a long box on a table and like just kind of going through rebagging and boarding, and just organizing them, and just kind of like I said, there's just kind of a weird meditative quality to that. So
I love bagging and boarding. Actually, when Pastimes was at the old location, Eric was the comic guy before you were around.
Yeah.
I would go in there with my collection and just sit and rebag and board and just hang out, and it was cool.
Yeah. That's the nice thing is it's a good area to fingers crossed, hopefully we all get through this safe and sound, and we do look forward to the day when we can have people kind of coming back into, because that's half the fun too for me is just like we're getting to do fortunately now is just kind of sitting around talking about comics, the industry. Like that's one of the things that I definitely do miss is having our customers in here too, because we have quite a bit of regular customers who like Wednesday at noon when we open, they just, they're showing up like in the first like hour or two, just ready for their new week of books, talking about what they had just read, what they're looking forward to, even just, and how their lives are going too. It's a nice thing that we get to benefit from the community, is just sitting around, talking about things that we like, and, just learning more about each other too. So.
Yeah, I agree. That part is a bummer. I miss human contact. I'm so lonely. I'm in this little box.
Don't worry, Johnny. Johnny, I'm here for you. Put your hand by that.
Oh,
we're so close.
Yet so far away.
Exactly. Yeah, we're brought together by these fine comics. So
that's right. And that are for sale, so buy them and keep us busy.
So a reminder for people who had just joined. The auctions are going to be lasting a day. So any of the items that we've listed here, we've got in the Facebook relisted as what their prices are. It's a minimum $1 increment to increase the bet, or the bid rather, and then it's going to last until 4 p.m. tomorrow. So 4 p.m. Central on the 13th. Which again, feel free to stop by then too, because that's when we'll be starting up the second part of our Comics Corner, which is the weekly book club again, which is Marvels for this week. So
Yeah. So I don't know. Is that what else we got? That was all the
Yeah.
that was all the
I guess we'll wrap up
auctions,
with
right?
yeah, we've shown all the auction items. We've
Yeah.
still got until we close out here the Spawn and Batman $12. Buy it now, and then I guess yeah, we'll, like I said, tomorrow we'll be back at 4 p.m. talking about some Marvels. You get to hear our basically our book reports on that. It'll be putting on our desks here, turning it into homework.
Yeah.
Um,
So because
previous ones that we had
okay.
done, if you haven't seen, they're put up on, I believe they're still on the Facebook too, but we also get them archived on YouTube and Twitch. So
Mm.
the Twitch channel being twitch.tv/pastimes online, Pastimes online. And then facebook.com/pastimes is where we're also streaming through, and where we've got, I believe, kind of archive versions. Also, if you're on the Facebook, we do have a Discord. I've been using the Discord too as a way to kind of like show off, like, hey, here's what we're going to be reading this week. If you want to follow along at home. So I've got like a post on there about the Marvels one, and we're gonna, once Wednesday rolls around and we have a new book for the week, we're gonna, put it up on there too. So if you want to keep up along with that, that's an option. The Facebook channel also has, or Facebook page also has our Discord channel's link. So if you want to join in on that, we've got it there. And yeah, I guess as far as like comic news, again, it's kind of the thing of not a lot right now.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of been finalized that yes, Diamond will be kind of trying to reship on the 20th.
Yeah.
So that's when,
That's
in
next
theory,
week, right? That's a week from
yeah,
today.
yeah, like
Oh yeah.
8 days. Yeah, we get back into the swing of doing the bag and boarding that we so love.
Hope some of my special orders come in. I'm so stoked about that. I need some new books to buy.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, like, I'll have to double check because like that was kind of like the first week of comics in a while, and like including a lot of back orders. So we'll see
Yeah,
how
we'll see
swamped
what
and how
happens.
busy we are. Just like going through like a month and a half worth of reorder stuff that we've been kind of getting in. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, again, for local subscribers who are watching right now, for that too, that means that you'll be getting the new comics again week to week, and we'll be able to do curbside again for those of you who are looking to pick that up too. So,
Rock and roll, man. Good
all
stuff.
right. Well, thanks for everybody for joining us out here for our inaugural sales stream.
That
I
was
had a
fun.
lot of fun. Yeah, it's a learning experience for everybody. Again, if there's any kind of questions or comments that you have, feel free to post in here or let us know on Facebook, on Twitter, or on Twitch too. I've got my email on there too of comics, COMSCS at pastimes.net. Always open to any kind of discourse on that too. So, but yeah, thanks again for joining us, and we will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m., which is also the ending time for the auction. So keep an eye out for that. So thanks for
All
coming on by.
right. Buy some books. See you tomorrow.